We join Namor as he is watching the Fantastic Four when Magneto urges him that the time to attack is now. Angered, Namor yells for Magneto not to give him commands as he cannot take lightly the value of lives at stake, and the mutant skulks away. Turning to the Baxter building where Reed has just finished alerting the Pentagon to the invasion and is currently trying to contact the president himself, though Ben is skeptical that he'll get through. Continuing trying to get through, he gets hold of one of the generals who is currently forming a plan of attack against Atlantis when Reed tells him he must stop until he reaches the White House, though the general is wary of the impending attack. Reed believes that they can still reason with Namor and that the war can be prevented when Johnny, tired of the talking, quickly leaves to go stall Namor. Ben suggests letting him go as he's doing something when Richards admonishes them again for prematurely launching the missile that started the mess. Grabbing the Human Torch, he is forced to flame off and brought inside, where Richards says they must act as a team. Crystal looks to the screen where they've gotten through to the White House when he yells for Sue to bring their child and take her upstate to their caretaker, though she wonders if she might be able to help against Namor. He urges her to go when Ben tries telling him that the president is on the line. Getting back to the call, he asks for a chance to persuade Namor, and giving his blessing, the president also warns that the troops are on standby. The team prepare themselves to leave, with Crystal staying behind and Sue taking the child away. Crystal, though, is angry at being forced to stay behind again, while on the roof, Reed prepares for his wife's departure. Looking at his son, he's prepared to protect him, as Sue wonders when they'll ever have a peaceful life when their vehicle departs. The others board the Fantastic car, ready to go face Namor. Back with Namor, Magneto informs him of the approaching heroes and again urges him to attack. He yells for the mutant to quiet down though, as he doesn't want to act rashly when Magneto warns him to be careful as he was born to rule all mutants, and yells for him to attack. Namor turns to the screen and, taking advantage of his turned back, Magneto uses his power on the console. A missile is launched, and determined not to cause the first strike, the Prince leaps out to stop it. Ben sees the oncoming threat, and the heroes assume it to be an attack on them. Shooting a jamming ray to detonate the missile, they inadvertently cause the explosion to hit Namor as well. They watch as he falls into the ocean, but Reed hopes he's only stunned when Thing jumps ship to make sure he stays knocked out. Back on the ship, Magneto watches the fight when he moves to take over the ship. Releasing a magnetic pulse, he easily pins the soldiers to the wall, allowing him full control of the vessel. Yelling that the soldiers will no longer serve the Submariner, he proclaims himself to be in command, just like how he and the mutants will control the world. We then turn to Sue as she reaches Whisper Hill, where Miss Harkness lives. At the door, Miss Harkness apologizes for being suspicious of who's arrived when Sue proclaims that she admires the caution when she drops Franklin off, saying she must return to her husband. Crying at leaving her child behind, she's at least glad that he's safe. Later, the Arrow car is homing in on Reed's location when Magneto spots it and decides to capture her to force the Fantastic Four to follow him. Inside the cockpit, Sue loses control of the ship due to Magneto's attack and raises a force field around herself to protect herself from the crash when the ship begins slowing down. The Master of Magnetism carefully lowers the vessel, then brings it inside his own ship, effectively capturing the Invisible Girl. Taking out the unconscious captive, he begins another plan to bend the Submariner to his will as well. Back with Reed, they watch the ocean when a waterspout rises out of the surface. Below, Ben is using his size to create a vortex to bring his opponent to him when Namor snaps out of his daze and wonders what is drawing him towards the vortex. They both spot each other and prepare for battle when Ben misses his punch as Namor suddenly stops himself. Taunting the Thing and effortlessly swimming behind him, he wraps his opponent in a chokehold. Shouting about how the water gives him strength, he throws the Thing into a rock formation and leaves, certain that his abnormal lungs will keep him alive until he wakes. Returning to the surface, he finds his flagship gone when he narrowly dodges a burst of flame shot from above him. Flying out of the water, he is pursued by the Human Torch, who is confident that he'll win the fight in the air. Agreeing, Namor then dives underwater while Reed reaches below, searching for Ben when he finds him and pulls him up when Johnny points out that Namor is getting away. The Thing urges them to go after him when they head to the flagship, with Reed carrying Ben along. Namor yells for his soldiers to close the hatch to block his pursuers when they catch up and Ben lands in front of him. Mr. Fantastic warns Ben to be careful of Namor's speed when the Submariner tries to go around him, but Reed catches him, yelling for Ben to grab him. They subdue him and ask why he started the invasion when he calls them out on attacking first and says he should have listened to Magneto. Just then a soldier appears saying that Magneto has taken over the flagship and is threatening both the Fantastic Four and himself when they put their differences aside and head in. They look on the view screen where they see the villain has captured both Sue and Lady Dorma. Namor warns Magneto that Dorma had better be safe when Reed says threats won't work, and Lady Dorma explains that she was tricked onto the ship and that Namor should leave her behind and do what he must. The Submariner is defiant though when Magneto is unimpressed, saying that they must listen to him due to his captives. Ben though is determined to stop Magneto, but Johnny stops him as Magneto would have no problem killing the women, and that the decision to go after him is up to Reed and Namor.